Hello, gang. Get out of your beans. Welcome back to the Sinking City. I think it's been like 2 weeks. It was an accident. Probably more like 6 days. Or, no, like 8 days. Something like that. Been slightly longer than I thought it would be, right? Everyone's away, so I've actually got the door open this time, and that means the cats are wandering around, and Beans might be a problem. So I might get up and shut him outside if he keeps being a butt. But I'd like to have him around anyways. Sometimes he goes and sleeps while I'm doing this, though. It's gonna be the first time. A gangsta suit with pinstripe. A little Thomas Brush action. What were we doing? Probably nothing. I'm sure we just wrapped up something. I remember we fought the Womb. Weird mouth monster that was like birthing clones of the old guy. His son, who we thought was good, is the one who did it, and is kind of fucked up, actually. There you go, casebook. Nosedive. Evernote Blackwood. Looks spooky. A meeting in the city. Fred has managed to set up a meeting with me and Evernote Blackwood. I need to keep in mind that Evernote will be expecting Fred instead of me. The meeting will take place Central Rita. Oh, right. We were just securing a smuggling route to get the doctor out once we recover them. This should be to recover the doctor. And Fred is, of course, the black guy who popped up. I guess he's in the cult, but he's not really in the cult. Kind of spy, he's helping us out. We marked the place for the field research. That's like up here. So we haven't been in this area yet, which is why it's not done. Guess we should teleport to the university in our freaking Doctor Who-esque time machine here. What if that's how fast travel worked in this game? You just hop over to another dimension where you actually took the walk, and it's really just a time machine. Like, save me 10 minutes or whatever. Anyways, I have a lot of stuff to talk about this week, so it's pretty cool. We'll give it a few minutes before we start that, but like, list. What is that, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items? At least 6 of those are games. Also, I just noticed that I've always had the nightlight control on. Like, it makes the screen redder at night when I'm streaming. So when I'm watching my recordings with it turned off, I was like, why am I so blue? And I don't know if that, like, if that translates to the recording or not, but I've turned it back on just to keep things familiar looking. I turned it off because I've been playing with the Wii, like I got that whole thing set up finally. And I thought it was just making things look weird and green when it was filtering over that for some reason. It's weird because I've never, like, felt that when I was playing it on Dolphin. But yeah, I've got the official Wii hardware hooked up to the computer. I can play that on the desktop, which it seems to be working just fine. No lag or anything. So we will be able to do some Wii stuff without emulating for once, even though I totally own almost everything I've emulated. Not Alundra, because that game's rare, but, you know, it's not like I can buy it and give money to the official developer anyways. So, yeah. I'll explain later, but last time we more or less decided we're playing Overlord next. And that's, you know, cemented. But basically, after that, we're gonna play Skyward Sword finally. Been planning to for a while, and with the Wii setup and working, I'm tempted to just do it right away. But got a hankering. Is my sanity really that low? Rifle kind of sucked. And it probably did more damage than I gave it credit for. I'm still not entirely sure if I can just shoot the big guys or if it has to be in the orange spot. But, I don't know, that didn't feel like it was any stronger than using the shotgun. Probably about the same, actually, just long range, which makes it about as useful as anything else, I suppose. Long range shotgun with no spread. But, and you know, he was close to me the whole time. I probably should have just used the shotgun, right? Stupid cat's trying to fucking gas me. And gaslight. We're all good in here, right? Yeah, I see that. Cool. Cool, cool. Cool, cool. Cool, cool. Cool. A lot of stuff. I forgot that we beefed the fuck out of our melee last time. So fast! You chop it. Huh. Chop it. Oh. These are all inky boys. They normally don't ink. Right. Nice that we can just walk through these now. Still not sure why we'd want to, and we only found the treasure in the one. We've been through like 3 of them before this. Like like actual treasure. This is just like, you survive, you get all your shit back. Yeah, shotgun's way fucking stronger, are you kidding me? I totally just shot the ground full on there, bro. No cap. Damn, good. Rick. Oh, that's another big boy. Do not have any grenades or Molotovs? Very strange. You know what? I did spend all the grenades and Molotovs on the womb. I guess I never recrafted them. Oi! Lord has Las Plagas. I see something blue over here. Oh. Okay, so I guess we will start with the most relevant item on our list. And by that, I mean the least relevant one. I played Overlord Dark Legend when I was testing out the Wii. I remembered it being pretty short, but it was much shorter than I remembered. And I do have my old Wii, of course, because I wanted to get the hero mode unlocked for Skyward Sword when we played that. But, anyways, I had my old save data. And it said the last time I played was in, like, 2009. So, what's that, like, 14 years ago? Jesus Christ. I think it was a birthday gift from my aunt. And at some point I let a friend borrow it, and that friend moved away, so I did not keep it. It's a shame, because one of my favorite franchises. No, I've only played that one once, I guess, for good reason. It was just alright, and it was really short, a lot shorter than I remembered. I beat it in one sitting, one pretty long sitting, but I could, you know, normally I play for like 3 hours at a time or so, maybe more if I'm having a good day. You know, I usually switch it up to a different game, or I go do something after the 3-hour mark. But when I got to the 3-hour mark this time, I had already done about 70% of the game. I was like, I might as well just finish this. So about another 2 hours later, the game's only like 5-6 hours. There is some padding with side quests if you care to unlock all the armors, which I guess I don't recommend you do. And those side quests kind of suck too. They just like, one of them just sends you through the whole map looking for these little gnomes to smash, and were kind of hard to find. And they told me it was all in like in some context. So you start the game in your castle, right? You're a young lord, and you will come into the power of the minion gauntlet and stuff. And after you've protected your lands from a halfling invasion, you go out and conquer the nearby town farmlands, and then you get into some business with the elves and dwarves. So it told me it was in the farmlands region, which is like, you know, a farmland, the town itself, and like 2 themed areas in the surrounding zone. However, only 2 of the areas actually had the gnomes in them. The 3rd area I needed to search was actually in the Gromgard farmlands, like just outside your castle. So it technically wasn't included in that region. I think it's called Mallow Sweet. And yeah, pretty tight about all that. Took me a while to find it because I just wasn't searching that area because it wasn't included in the freaking zone. Gromgard and Mallow Sweet are 2 different places. Anyways. The other side quests are just like, go smash stuff, but they were mostly around the town. It wasn't bad. I got a skill point, didn't I? Yeah. Means you're gonna trip on the wire, dog. Lay down, Beans. Damage increased by 20%. That's pretty cool. I see. I did upgrade the shotgun. Maybe this will make it about the same. Do I need ammo capacity, or one of these like increased my crafting inventory, right? Chance to save materials. I feel like that's unnecessary. It's cool, I don't mind that that's there, but yeah, I'm usually pretty good on materials. As long as you don't miss, which I like to line up my shots, which is usually the problem. I usually take too long between shots. I don't miss enough. Sanity's definitely an issue here. Let's go with that. Right, so we kind of already glossed over this detail, but the game starts with you in the castle. You are a prince to a duke a small fiefdom, I guess. You have a brother and a sister as well. The sister is like a buff butch lady, and she loves the dwarves. She's always hanging out with them, buddies with their king. And your brother's like a Twinkie. He's a Twinkie boy, and he's hanging out with the elves. The elves and dwarves are like as generic as can be. It's meant to be like a comedy, right? So, you know, the freaking dwarves are just walking drunk beards, and they hate elves, and elves hate dwarves, and they're vegetarian, vegan, whatever. They fight with plants. So yeah, your father's out of town. He's apparently a shitty duke because he's a good guy, and he just, like, he does stuff without getting rewards most of the time. His kingdom's, like, hemorrhaging money. However, it's also your 16th birthday, and your uncle, I guess, left you a package to be given to you on your 16th birthday, and it happens to be the Minion Gauntlet, which looks pretty sick. Minion Domination, I always called it the Minion Gauntlet. I have no idea if there's an official name for the thing, but, you know, it's the artifact passed down between overlords. And it allows you to open the door into the castle's throne room, because apparently before you there was a Dark Duke. So I guess your father is his son, and he tried to change things around, and it wasn't really working out. But you can see paintings and stuff of the Dark Duke up in this destroyed throne room that was not in use. And, you know, he looks like Overlord. He's got the Sauron helmet. But yeah, as soon as you get into there, your castle becomes, like, under siege from halflings, aka hobbits. I think they're, like, half human, half dwarf, maybe? You know, they're small humans, and they're hairy. I've never actually been sure what the friggin' lore behind hobbits is. But they're, like, raiding your kitchen, and one of them builds, like, a tank or whatever, and, you know, you gotta defend your lands, so you learn how to control some minions real quick, trash your siblings' rooms, and then you get out there and you go demolish the halfling town, booting them off your farmlands. And in the process, you recover the red minion hive, so you get your second units right away, which the red minions throw fireballs. You start with the browns, which are just melee warriors. Gameplay is kind of like Pikmin. I don't think I've talked about Overlord in depth before, but kind of like Pikmin, you know, you got guys different colors, they do different things, and you just kind of swarm them at things. However, you also have a hero character with a weapon, so you can go beat some ass with that, and you can cast spells too. You know, that's the game. You send swarms of shit at things, and there's like a little light strategy involved with placing your minions around and stuff, casting specific spells at times, and like a little character building, but not really. And you find upgrade materials around, like you get gold to craft new equipment, or you can find spell stones, which they'll have to transport back to a portal, and they'll show up in your throne room, and you unlock a new spell. You get like pillars to increase your health and mana and minion count. The meeting place is around here somewhere. Is it left or is it right? Woo! It's the Klan. Join us.
killer knew what he was doing. A clean strike, deep.
Right in the head.
Ah, this is an Evernote.
Yeah, this game is like quick and dirty. It's on the Wii, so it can't handle too many minions. I think the max count is like 20. And you get increases of 2 and 3 when you get these freaking pillars, and again, the max is 20. So, you know, stuff dies a lot quicker than in the normal game. There is no difficulty setting, and there's very little strategizing to be had when you can only control so few minions. And that's the issue with the game, really. It's just, like, so dumbed down and end up being too short and quick because of that. In the base game, you start with, like, 10, and this one you start with 5, and then I think 50 is the max in the first game, something like that. And I think you can push it even a little further when you get some upgrades in your helmet. We've warned you, yet you return. This is the final message. Go back underwater or die. Reed Heights is under our protection. The police won't help you. No one will. Yeah, and that kind of sums up my entire thoughts on the game. It's just, there's nothing to it because of that low minion count. There's no strategy. Most fights I can just swarm guys at things and, like, it'll melt. Like, I barely lost any minions. Normally you have to collect individual colored life essences for each minion type. Like, you know, there'll be red and brown and blue. But this time it's only life essence, so you can spend it all on one thing. Which meant that I hit the max cap of 999 really quick. And again, I barely lost any minions at all, so it didn't really matter. I forgot to mention that by pillaging stuff, the minions, like, pick up things and put them on their heads. Like, get armor and weapons. So that helped them not die even more. Professor Doe. Dear Professor Doe, I appreciate your quick response. It's unfortunate that meeting you in person would implicate us both. The hallucinations do indeed sound unusual, and the asylum hacks wouldn't be able to make any sense of it, but I can. Just recently, I heard of a certain phenomenon that contains commonalities to these visions. At a later date, I will inform you of my findings. Keep me updated about any new fits you experience. And please stay safe. It is absolutely paramount that you do. Kind regards, E.B.
Ah, this is an Evernote.
So yeah, I mean, that's how the final boss went. I just sicked my guys on him. And they tried to add, like, little puzzle elements to the boss fights because of it. Like, the last one, you had to only go in with your blue minions, which you can't really fight. And then you had to open ways to get to the other spawners where you can bring everyone in, and then you just sick them on the guy. Or there was one against, like, you're in the lands of legends, right? Everything is, like, fairy tale inspired. So there was one area that's like Hansel and Gretel. There's a woman kidnapping kids with promise of candy. And she was harvesting their teeth to sell to tooth fairies as, like, a side hustle, I guess. So yeah, with her, you had to, like, grab a missile and shoot her out of the sky before you could swarm her and kill her. And that only lasted, like, 2 rounds because you do damage so quick. Translation notes, CA 24. The one savior will seal the gates. Next, hundreds will fall once he sees. The will of one will break the cycle. There can only be one. Are these Bible verses or something? I guess the Ku Klux Klan is a religious organization.
Someone shot this place up good.
Alright, we gotta do this.
Mr. Blackwood, we're under attack.
I surrender. Take me and let my people leave.
The Imperial Wizard's gonna deal with you, Blackwood. Maybe they'll finally get it. The Order ain't welcome in this part of town.
Time to figure this out.
The Imperial Wizard's gonna deal with you, Blackwood. Maybe they'll finally get it. The Order ain't welcome in this part of town.
I'm just trying to go
Blackwood, we're under
point
attack.
A to B with this one. I think it might have started at this top floor one though, and then all that stuff on the first floor happened on the way out. Hard to
I
tell.
surrender. Take me and let my people leave.
They seemed too calm. They weren't holding guns or shooting anymore by the time they got downstairs.
I surrender. Take me and let my people leave.
Maybe they'll finally get it. The Imperial Wizard's gonna deal with you, Blackwood.
The meeting place was attacked. Evernote was carried off while his escort's bodies were left as a warning.
Okay, let's check out the mine palace. Not first, not the last. The attackers left a note saying they're willing to kill again and that Reed Heights is under their protection. Evernote has studied a number of occult texts where one savior has been a recurring theme. Evernote's party is brutally attacked by a group of hooded men. Blackwood begged for his men to be spared, but none were. Fishface is not welcome. The meeting place in Reed Heights fell under a well-organized assault. Evernote Blackwood was taken prisoner. Associates were massacred. The attackers did not fear the police, and this obviously wasn't their first act. They wore hoods and used knives. Apparently, they are trying to keep Innsmouthers away from this side of the tracks. Blackwood talked to Professor Doe. No. Alright, so I think I need to go to police archives to investigate that, but there's more stuff to find here. Picked up the knife, but I didn't investigate the body, I don't think.
This isn't Evernote.
No?
This isn't Evernote. Jeez. Poor bastard.
That's all. Okay. So, police archives. Guess we're going back through here. Or isn't the thing like over here, like for the field research quest? Yeah, should go here. Lighting doesn't look too bad in this part of town. Yeah, what was I saying? There was a Wolf Mother boss, and it was like a little Red Riding Hood thing. Except she wanted help getting to Grandma's house, right? But she was actually a werewolf the whole time. She was like luring people away to eat them. If they were children, she'd trade them to the fairy, the baker lady. Man, they had a whole hustle going on. Anyways, she had some kind of puzzle element to her, I think, but I just like zapped the fuck out of her with lightning and she died. So I didn't even figure out that boss fight, and like there's another guy who teleported around and regenerated. I just set up 2 camps and he melted. Like all these bosses were just kind of disappointing. They died way too quick. And again, there's not enough strategy was allowed by the Wii's limitations, I guess. Maybe they could have stylized the game a bit more, made it uglier. It looked like it were using a lot of the assets from the original game. You can also pick up smelters to bring back to your forge to unlock new recipes for weapons and armor. You get the first one like almost right away, and the other 2 are in the dwarf region. They're separated by like arbitrary barriers in the game, but it's weird that they're both there. And the armors themselves aren't very well defined in what their statistics are. Like, they tell you in a quick little thing that, like, each one is colored and that gives different resistances, but it's not like each color is offered per set. Each set only has 3 colors. And I guess the gold one's always available, and that offers physical resistance, which makes it the best. But the whole thing's honestly pretty confusing. I'm not sure I can get into here. Is that why all this area is like blacked out? Do I have to come, like, down this way? And what's weird about the weapons, too, is that normally it's axes, swords, and maces, and, you know, they're all separated by speed and damage values. It's a matter of preference. They're all equally viable. But this time it started with, swords, and you know, you have all the swords available at once, and then the next smelter unlocks the axes, and then the maces. And I guess they all have about the same attack speed, and it's just a raw damage increase, plus whatever elements available based on the 3 types. I don't know, it was just a weird system, and again, it wasn't clearly defined what the stats on any of these things were. I just assumed that the next tier was stronger, but I don't know how true that was. And it kind of works the same in the original game, right? However, the thing that was clearly better about the next tier in the first game was that you could dump more minions into it for enchantments. So even if they did all have the same stats, hypothetically, you can make a overall stronger piece of gear eventually. Which is not the case here, it's just confusing. Another problem I had with the game was just that there is no morality system. Like, yeah, you're always evil, but they've always given you a choice between, like, chaos and domination. Like, you can be an alright guy, you just gotta, you know, conquer. Everyone's technically gotta be a slave, but you don't have to murder people or whatever. You know, you just gotta make sure that they know their place. That's just not the case here. I guess you go for the dominant role because you're not even allowed to kill people. Which might have something to do with, like, Nintendo guidelines.
Extra. All the news that's fit.
I have no idea if you're able to murder innocents in Chinatown Wars GTA on DS. I had no interest in the game, but it's very possible you weren't. In fact, most of what you're doing feels kind of good. You're, like, saving townspeople from these scammy witches. And then, you know, they get attacked by the elves eventually. It's kind of messed up. The dwarves didn't do anything wrong, but they were needed to stop the elves, I guess. Because the one evil thing that you do is start a freaking endless war between the two. They already didn't like each other, they were playing nice, but you tricked them into thinking they attacked each other, and that's the big thing. You start a war, and then your siblings join the war, and they get tired eventually. You come back home and find out that you took over, and you make them your slaves. And that's how the game ends. I don't expect anyone to play the freaking 5-hour game that's from 2009, so yeah, I'm spoiling it. So yeah. Overall, it was just like a short and sweet little taste of what the game could be. But it just left me wanting more. If you had played one of the other ones first, I think that you'd be pretty unsatisfied. If it was your first endeavor into the franchise, it would probably make you want to play the other ones. So, I guess I wouldn't recommend it, but maybe if you got like a young one, a child, they could maybe get more out of it. So yeah, pretty mid. There was potential that it just couldn't reach because of hardware limitations, I guess. So, perhaps here. Yeah. Our town looks a little too nice for a monster house to be in it. I forgot they don't really tell you when your health is low. What else is on the list? Dawn of War 3, Warhammer 40k. We just finished that last night. I don't think the fans liked the game. I'm pretty sure it didn't do well. Like, sales-wise. Which is sad because, you know, the Dawn of War 1 collection is all very good. I have, like, the Platinum Battle Chest, which includes Winter Assault and Dark Crusade. I know there's an expansion called Soulstorm. I think that was maybe made by a different developer. I never played it. It's also, like, Eldar themed, which I don't like playing Eldar. So I never played that one. And then Dawn of War 2 is, like, not a traditional RTS. The multiplayer is, so the campaign doesn't prepare you for it at all, but it's like a weird squad-based action RPG with some real-time tactics to it, and I thought it was a very good game. I love Dawn of War 2. But again, it's not the traditional RTS that people who played Dawn of War 1 wanted, and I'm sure there was a big divide on that game too. So, you know, they went back to the traditional approach for 3. But they made it more hero-focused. Like, there always was a hero character, but he didn't do much. He wasn't in the same level as the Warcraft characters, for example. But now you've got, like, freaking Titan characters. You can just freaking kill an entire squad of dudes in, like, 3 hits. They got big-ass AoE attacks, reflecting projectiles and stuff. Like, the hero is OP. And that makes things feel kind of MOBA-ish at times, especially when they give you most of the missions, in fact, you don't start with the base building right away. A lot of them you don't build a base at all, you just get like a small squad of dudes, or you only use heroes. But usually the base building something that gets unlocked midway through a mission. Anyways, the game looks good, it sounds good, and it's back to form, I guess, which I'm sure people were excited for that. But the game still somehow didn't do well, and I'm not sure why. From what I can see in the reviews, a lot of people were disappointed that factions were missing. Which, I guess that's fair. They were really spoiled with the previous games. Right, Dawn of War 2 had the Eldar, I think the Imperial Guard. At least Retribution did. The Orcs, of course, and Space Marines. And the Tyranids. And I think the Chaos Marines were even in Retribution. There were like 1 or 2 things added in Retribution that were not in the base game. Or maybe Chaos Marines weren't available until the Chaos Rising expansion, I don't know. Again, I did not engage with the multiplayer at all because I'm just not competitive. My skill level, I always get freaking danked by bum rushers and stuff. The dominant strategy in these RTS games is just unfun to deal with, and then you get Koreans, they can do 50,000 inputs per second. And Dark Crusade had all those, minus the Tyranids, but they had Necrons and the Tau Empire. So, like, there was a lot of stuff to work with in these other games. And here we have Orcs, Eldar, and Space Marines. There are some Chaos Demons in the game, but no Chaos Marines and no multiplayer faction that uses them. In fact, when you encounter Chaos, they usually just use clones of other units from the factions. Like literal clones just made of black goop. Did I not heal myself again? And the Imperial Guard are kind of in the game, but not in a meaningful capacity. Like, you just find them as generic units in some missions. But that's the only unit in the game, just like the literal guardsmen. They don't have their tanks, they don't have the Olegs. There's no hero unit. So yeah, basically I only engaged with the campaign. Apparently there was some weird skull collecting mechanic at some point where you'd go around the map and collect stuff, I guess. And you'd spend that to unlock new elite units and doctrines, which you pick before going to a mission. It's like a loadout. You get 3 unique units. One of them's always going to be your hero, but you can get like a Goliath mech kind of thing, or like some super soldiers, or just like another hero that's not as strong as the main hero. And the doctrines are like little passive buffs you can add, so like you can add a new move to a specific unit, or you can make it so if you're playing it works and you pick up scrap, your units will heal some. Stuff like that. I keep forgetting to heal because of the freaking bad feedback in this game. I don't know, those are, like, alright. I didn't get to engage with the skull collecting system, but that was patched out in favor of just making it all available at once. Which I guess means that you can, you know, get whatever strategy works best for you right away without having to grind out and, you know, potentially losing a ton of games. However, there's just too much at once. I found it overwhelming. Luckily, throughout the campaign, they, like, give you different loadouts of the elites for each mission. So it keeps things fresh and you don't really have to pick them. So I think I got to try them all. Again, I didn't pick them. The doctrines, I stuck to the ones I liked. So I guess it's good that those were available. But again, there's a lot of them. And, you know, for the single-player stuff, it seemed completely unnecessary. And what's really annoying is, because it's going for, like, a sort of live service thing, I guess, I didn't see any loot boxes in the game, but you unlock, like, you know, abilities, elites, skins, profile icons. Oi! Fuck you. Killing this cop's gonna lower my sanity. Eh. So yeah, again, my initial impression was just, oh, that's too much, and when you unlock stuff between missions and you, like, quit the game, you log back in, it's going to tell you what you unlocked last time, and there's a continue button, but that continue button's broken. So you have to launch the game twice to make it go away. And that's just a little frustrating. Campaign. Campaign's strange. You got the 3 factions, and you have to play all of them. They're not like split campaigns, it's all one thing, you play them chronologically. You've got the Space Marines, you start the game with them, you got your boy Gabriel Angelos back in action, his Demon Hammer. You got the Orc War Boss, Gorguts. Orcs are orcs, they just want to fight shit and get loot and whatnot. Gorguts was like a pirate captain in Retribution. For some reason he's not a boss anymore, but he wants to be boss. So, you know, that's his deal. He becomes the boss and he rages a big war. And yeah, I liked playing the orcs, they were fun. There's 17 missions in the game, and they're split kind of evenly, but I think you spend the least time with the Space Marines. Mostly playing orcs and Eldar. And 2 of the missions you play all of them, I guess. Like the final mission you only play the main heroes from each faction. The one before that you play all of them. And each mission feels like they're just like introducing you to new mechanics. They're easing you into some basic features at first, and they like show you some different elites and new techniques or whatever. There's a shitty stealth mission that's in every RTS game. I feel like the game just didn't have enough padding, like, to let me play around with what I learned before it tried to teach me something new. And again, I've never been good at playing Eldar, so when I played the Eldar missions, it was struggling. You know, that was just frustrating. I wish the campaigns were separate. Especially after playing, like, Kingdom Under Fire. where, you know, you go through some of the same events with multiple characters, and you just play the other campaigns to fill in the blanks of the story, but it doesn't keep you from seeing the end of the game if you didn't play all the campaigns. Fuck. The Count Ugolino restaurant is preparing to reopen. Kitchen hands, dishwashers, waiters, waitresses, all interested parties should come to Count Ugolino for an interview with Chef Armin Myers. Fuck. You're stepping on like gas mines or something. There's something laying them? Mysterious disappearance. Police have started to look into the disappearance of several young women in Abs, and witnesses said they saw missing victims visit Count Ugolino, but the police investigation found nothing illegal or in matters rejected all accusations. So my biggest complaint with the game overall is just resource acquisition. Basically, you have to like capture key points on the map, and then you build a requisition or power generator on them. And they have specific spots, so like this point can be it can have only a requisition, it can have only a power, it can have 2 requisitions and 1 power, and so on. And you can build a listening post on it to protect it for a little bit if it gets attacked. And you can spend resources to upgrade it, increase the collection rate on it. But those upgrades are really expensive. And just like acquisition's slow, units are expensive, and basically when you've got building, buying upgrades, and like reinforcing your units to like heal them, Company of Heroes style, it is made by Relic.
The door won't budge.
I just found it difficult to ever produce any new units in most of the missions. It was like way too slow collecting resources. There's only like a few of these nodes on the map. You'd think they'd be worth a lot more than they were.
These aren't your typical kitchen utensils.
So, you know, if I ever got completely team wiped in a fight, I would reload the entire mission, or I'd save scum or whatnot, because it was just not fun to sit there and wait for stuff to come out and like pump out 1 unit every 2 minutes.
Well, I don't think the health inspector will be pleased.
They found nothing illegal. What the fuck? Recipe for human meat. Preheat the oven at 350 degrees. Cut the flesh from the young woman's hip into 4-ounce pieces. Then pound each one to the thickness of 1/3 inch. Season with black pepper. On each steak, lay a slice of cheese, few leaves, sage, few slices of Posquito. Roll into pinwheels. Heat oil on large skillet over medium height. Quickly brown the pinwheels outside. I hope my new patrons enjoy the dish. You're just feeding human meat to unsuspecting people. That's fucked up. Makes sense to use women, though. They have, like, a guaranteed layer of fat on them. And give it more flavor. The man meat's probably all stringy. Anthropophagia? I was always sure my dishes could not be matched. Those who taste human flesh always crave for more. It's difficult to find enough meat for my patrons. They spend all their time hiding in the basement, pleading to be fed again. Today I went downstairs and saw how the patrons had changed. They love my cooking so much that their bodies have adapted to consume more. I cannot let them down. I must post new ads in the Oakmont Chronicle. My funds are running low. Those patrons weren't human. They were those dog things that we were fighting in the main room. And he just fed them because they're cute or what? Did they mind control them? What's the deal? And they're not paying him either to do this. That's terrible.
My esteemed patrons, presenting my latest delicacy. Don't be greedy. Don't hurry to eat, please. You'll always be my most well-regarded clients.
These aren't your... typical kitchen utensils.
So, the game has control groups, which I guess have been a mechanic in some RTS games, but I've never actually had to use it before. Basically, when you highlight a group, you can press control and then a number key, and it'll let you reselect them when you hit that number key later on. That was pretty cool. I remember Tom Clancy's End War, you could, like, set up teams by doing something similar, but that game was all voice commands. So you can be like, calling all units, or calling Bravo team, and that'll select, like, a tank and some infantry that you set up in Bravo team. Anyways, yeah, that was a nice feature. I basically only used it for select all because I tried to set it so, like, all my ranged units, all my melee units from two separate groups, and I command them separately, but it didn't seem to matter too much. The melee units just kind of run in and die. They're meat shields for the ranged units. They usually don't have too many abilities either.
The blood is still fresh.
And using their abilities is difficult, I found, because it didn't seem like I could just use stuff on all of them by having the same units selected. Let's say I only had Shooter Boys selected. When they collect scrap, they get a stick grenade. So, you know, you click on one and you can toss a grenade somewhere. However, if I only select Shooter Boys, it only lets me toss the stick grenade from the main unit selected. Even though I have 3 Shooter Boys selected, I can't toss out 3 grenades. I have to select each individual unit to do it. And there's not, like, the mouse wheel or a key to cycle through them quickly. You just kind of have to either click around on the HUD, which will have like 50 units on it, or the actual crowded fight, which can be difficult. And like when you select stuff, it's always going to prioritize the hero as well. All that just makes like that. While it's cool that there are a lot of abilities for the units, that are just difficult to actually use, and so I tended to favor passive stuff. Formal invitation letter. Dear Mr. Throgmorton, it is my pleasure to invite you to a tasting exclusive and exquisite dishes, which will be taking place in Count Gunn's restaurant 2 weeks' time. This is a closed event. Only the most honorable guests will be in attendance. I hope you join us. So was this an invitation to kill Mr. Throgmorton, or was he trying to feed him humans? So we can go back to the hospital now. The story was alright. I'm not, like, super deep in the freaking 40k lore. I honestly think some of it doesn't even make much sense, because they're, like, at the freaking apex of technology. They're all the most advanced. I don't know what the fuck they're fighting over. It's just, like, Space Marines are racist. They're serving the God Emperor of Mankind. The Imperial Guard are lesser. They're in the same faction, but they fight the Space Marines sometimes, I guess. I don't know what the hell Tau are. Eld are elves. Orcs are orcs. And they're funny. Necron are mummies. Robot mummies, I guess. I don't think they appear all that often. And yeah, all these things are pretty isolated. Again, characters from the past games show up. Like, you've been playing Gabriel Angelus since the first game. The Blood Raven chapter, I don't even know if that's, like, in the 40k canon or whatever. Because they're supposed to be, like, a small chapter. They're elite Marines. Like, they very well could have just been invented for the games, maybe officially implemented around then. But normally you always see the Ultramarines, which are like the largest chapter, I guess. And Death Watch, which are, you know, they're special forces, they wear black. Anyways, isolate event. You see characters from past games. That's all I was trying to say. It was fine. I thought it was probably less interesting than the previous two. Though it was nice to see Gabriel actually take the freaking aliens' advice this time. Before, in the first game, they were like, "You're gonna cause a disaster if you keep doing this." He's like, "No, I will not listen to Xenos." And this time he's like, "Oh, my brethren paid because I did not heed your advice. I will work with you this time, but only to cleanse the foul demon."
I paid a visit to that awful restaurant.
Yeah, he had character development, I guess.
Evil, but that would be an understatement.
Good grief. What happened?
The cook was mad, a cannibal, and fed those jumping monstrosities on human flesh. He called them patrons.
That restaurant was a destination for Oakmont's elite, many of whom disappeared shortly after the flood. I think we now know why.
Are you suggesting it was cannibalism that caused such a horrific transformation?
These days, alas, cannibalism is not so rare. Could it be that all the Cositians, as Westerbrook calls them, were once men?
Oh, did they become pigs because they're willing to eat anything?
We've discovered a lot of disturbing information about the wild beasts. What are you gonna do with it?
Well, I've already contacted the university. We'll cooperate to further study these phenomena.
The public deserve to know. It would help them to protect themselves and others.
It would cause mass hysteria. Doesn't the city have enough problems already? I must insist you keep all this confidential.
I thought you wanted help.
And I will, but we must prepare our advice carefully, with scientific rigor. We cannot rush this, my friend.
Oh, alright. I would have said the authorities should know, but I don't like the police in this town.
Bye.
Knowledge. There's something I wanted besides increasing the sanity meter, right? Gotta be. Guess not. Probably get the ammo next. The firebomb range sounds cool. You know, damage and range. Okay, next I want to head to the police station. Look up KKK activities. Is that all there is to say about the game? I mean, it's an RTS, it's what you'd expect. There were just a couple things that I didn't like about it, like, you know, the yield and rate that you collected resources, how expensive everything was in comparison to that rate. There were some confusing decisions that they obviously, like, went back on at some point. I really liked Dawn of War 2's campaign, even though it wasn't what people were expecting, and I would like to see that come back in some capacity. But in terms of, like, playing a 40k RTS, I think you're better off, like, still playing Dawn of War 1. I don't know if there's an audience for 2's multiplayer. Again, I didn't engage with it. But 1 seems like it has probably the most content available, unless you really wanted to play Tyranids. Plus 1 has, like, mods and shit. They got some crazy much stuff going on there. I remember there's one that, like, you have, like, 1,000,000 units on screen, and you can get, like, stuff from, like, further in the canon. It's not in the base game, like, giant freaking planet-sized walker mechs. There's some crazy stuff available for Dawn of War. Crimes, violent crimes. Districts, Reed Heights. Victims? We know that they're attacking Innsmouthers. The Orion Klub. Felony lynching suspects ZH Comstock, C. Borshoff, unidentified accomplices. Confined victims, 8 males with Innsmouth syndrome. Status closed by public demand. Homicide. What? Someone demanded that they close this case? They just drop it? Definitely one of the elites. Mead Heights, December 9. Suspect apprehended at Orion Klub, St. Michael's Road, south of University Street, Central Advent. Ties to KKK confirmed. Case closed by public demand. Suspects released. KKK must have good friends at the police department here. We know where to go to the Orion Klub, though. There we go. Advent, University Road. St. Michael's Road. Alright, and it doesn't look like we have a fast travel point there yet, so we're better off walking. Oh wait, we do. Yeah, the game was alright. I didn't plan on touching the multiplayer. I got what I wanted out of the campaign, I guess. Again, I didn't like that I was forced to play Eldar, because that made some missions just a struggle. I'm trying to get through the fucking story. Orcs are silly, but then nothing really interesting happened there. You're just always surprised that Gorgut's dumbass actually fucking wins in most situations. And Gabriel, I'm not entirely sure what the implications are of what he did. Like, a chapter's mothership is like a big floating chapel, and I think the entire chapter lives on it, especially the Blood Ravens, since they're like the smallest. So, considering what happens, I don't know if the Blood Ravens are gone, or if, because like Gabriel's still alive at the end, I can say that much. I don't know if there are any other survivors from this conflict. I don't know if they're gonna reform, if they're all gone, or what. Will there be a Dawn of War 4? Who knows? Will it be like 2 or like in more RTS? Who knows? I hope they bring back 2's format into like a spin-off thing though. At least. I forgot to mention that Retribution, which was like a standalone expansion for 2, actually added some of the base building back in. Like you'd summon units and whatnot, but it still stayed mostly hero based, and that one was alright. I guess that's what they were going for here, but they added more to the base building, and it just wasn't enough, I guess. Things weren't tweaked properly. I feel like they were trying to have, like, both audiences come together, and they ended up just not pleasing anyone. And the game came out a while ago, maybe like 2016. Earlier even, I'm not sure. I remember the whole Biscuit mentioned it, and the man's been dead for like 10 years. So, you know, I'm sure it's irrelevant at this point. I bought it for like $5 on sale. I got it in a Humble Bundle at some point too, but my brother talked me out of that. He forgot he even had it. I mentioned it. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna take that. And I'm like, nah, fuck you.
Bled to death? What's going on here?
He honestly might like RTSs more than me. Like, I played a lot of Age of Empires as a kid, but I can't, like, I don't think I'm good at it. I can't get into it today, I don't think. I prefer more city builder type things. You know, I enjoy Halo Wars. I think Warcraft 3 is one of the best games ever made. But when I try to play, like, Command and Conquer or Supreme Commander, I just can't do it. But while I do enjoy Dawn of War, I think that he probably likes it more than me, at least. I don't think it was bad of him to have taken it. That's all I was trying to say. I'm justifying his actions. Someone got burned in here. Hello? KKK. Is that what KKK is? I know on the cross it has, like, you know, like JAS or whatever. They're all, like, names for Jesus. You know, like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, they all refer to Jesus. So, like, what are all these Ks? I know it's Ku Klux Klan, but what the fuck does that actually stand for? Klan spelt with a C, not a K.
You look like you've been run over, pal. What happened?
What does it look like? It was that damned prisoner.
You mean Evernote, the preacher?
I don't know. We didn't exchange business cards. One of the order. And I'm just a guard. I need a rest. And a stiff drink.
So is there anyone around here who knows what's going on?
Go ask the wizard. Upstairs. Is it getting dark in here?
I forgot they freaking call their leader a wizard, like the guy in the black and red robe. What kind of freaking Christian cult accepts wizardry? An archwizard or something. Not an archpriest, not a fucking pope, not a deacon, a wizard.
You brought this on yourself when you joined the Klan.
Mayor, take you.
Fucker.
This is an Evernote.
I'm supposed to crawl through here. What's the rating for Dawn of War 3? Kind of short. Disappointed it wasn't enough like 2 and just not as well put together as Dawn of War 1 as an RTS. Like, it didn't meet either standard. But, like, it wasn't bad by any means, just some questionable decisions. And, you know, when I had an army available and wasn't struggling to pump out units, it was fun, I guess. Could have used some better shortcuts and stuff, better controls. So, it was pretty mid. Give it like a 6. I have mixed opinions. There's a little disappointment coupled in there. It might be, like, objectively better than that, but, you know, playing all of them beforehand, there's a little disappointment in there that doesn't. It's hard to not take the sting of. Evernote Blackwood is behind on his rent. There has been enough warnings. Send men to make an example of his operation. Make it look good for the newspapers. They are fish faces after all. P.S. See what he was up to while you're at it. If Blackwood's trustworthy, I'm gosh darn Teddy Roosevelt.
The door won't budge.
Oh, I have to break this. Is that all the birds are pointing me at, the exit, or is there something else? There we go. Oh, I can crawl up again. Jeez, this is weird.
That is not normal.
Ah, hello. I, Evernote Blackwood of Innocence, my only goal is to save the city from Sentinel Madness and ensure the safety of Harriet Doe.
Think you're funny, Blackwood? A confession, a real one. Write it down while you've still got fingers.
Look at these things. Someone's way too fond of causing pain. Door won't budge.
The dark blue skin must be a higher tier. And there's the green ones, which I think have a poison element to them, but they're not. They're maybe just as durable. I think fighting that boss from before might have been a milestone, though. And we're gonna encounter blue boys a lot more often. Might even find a blue version of these. I guess the game was getting a little too easy. Now, I had things under control, but I'm not sure making tankier enemies is gonna make it feel very good. That's how the scaling works. Maybe if I could upgrade my guns. But you can't really do that outside the skill point things.
Hey, you can't just waltz in here. This club is off limits to non-members, especially you damn newcomers.
Are you the wizard?
Who am I kidding? The club's a blasted.
Look like a leprechaun.
I've got wounded here, and we're all on edge. Who are you, anyway?
Charles Reed, private investigator. I'm looking for one of your recent, guests.
Right, you mean that bloody preacher from the fish market? This is all his fault. He was the one who summoned those beasts.
Summoned them. You're kidding me. How did he pull that off?
Pull that off? Do I look like some rotten fish-faced warlock to you? How should I know? He just did. And all in all that commotion, he escaped.
Was the preacher's name Evernote by any chance?
That's the one. We've been hunting down that slimy drock for weeks.
Oh, that seems like a lot of trouble to go to. And why bother? What's so special about him?
He's a pain in the ass, is what? That man doesn't have any respect for the way things are done around here.
This should be good. So what did he do to cross you, exactly?
Look around. This place is crawling with wild beasts. It's obvious he's up to no good. We'd never have known a thing about it if he wasn't behind in his damned rent.
Rent? Oh, don't tell me you jokers are landlords now.
It's no joke. You know how it is. Reed Heights, Advent, Old Grove. Dangerous places without the right kind of protection.
Oh, mafia rent, protection money. Gotcha.
If I didn't know better, I'd say that sounded like a protection racket to me.
Your words, not mine. Besides, our group's gotta get funding somehow. Robes and ammunition aren't cheap.
Yeah, well, maybe to be a volunteer thing. You need to squeeze it out of the good people who aren't already in your fucking group.
Did anyone see where he went?
I'd bet good money he went back to his hideout. I'll go after him, but I have to take care of my wounded men first.
So, you gonna tell me where he is?
It's your life, buddy. The scouts I sent after him never came back.
Who exactly are you?
You're addressing the Imperial Wizard Gordon Mayer, newcomer. Show some damn respect.
Gordon Mayer. Not the chef, but related.
Oh, never heard of an Imperial Wizard. Is that some kind of rank?
That's right, smart guy. It is. It's the highest rank in the clan.
Am I right in thinking Evernote pleaded for the lives of his men?
And what if he did?
Oh, he's killing prisoners, the kind of thing honorable men are doing now.
That's enough out of you, jackass!
What? What? You're a jackass, jackass! Eesh. The whitest white slaughter tits for discerning women. Love under the hood. Christ. Who'd have thought there'd be freaking clan-specific romance novels? Yeah, well, what can I say? Ladies love bad boys. And some people, it's either BBC or KKK. Can't have both. Fuck did I just hear? Cunt. What else do we have to talk about? Heavenly Sword, PS3. PS3 exclusive. Game's supposed to be like, Spectacle Fighter. I'd call it a God of War clone, that's what I thought it was, but it's more like a Devil May Cry, I guess. Though, you know, even less than that, it's a lot more basic. You have a sword, a heavenly sword. You play a lady with red hair, but I guess using the sword takes your life eventually.
It's getting cold.
West Grimhaven Bay. Deep Shore Road. Queen Skipper. And Marsh. Oh. I wouldn't say it's between Skipper and Marsh, but it is on that road. Right next to a fast travel point. Geez. What was I saying? The game starts out with you only having a long sword and you get some very basic combos. It's like, you know, quick attacks and heavy attacks, but not really heavy attacks. You can... There's like a kick button, I guess. You can kick stuff or pick things up and throw them. It's not too useful. And you can block specific attacks by standing still. It's weird. That's only for the first mission. Then you get to Heavenly Sword and you unlock a couple different stances. There's the fast stance, which is what you've been doing, and you unlock new combos for that by collecting seals, I guess, which are kind of like just points you get for rank. Each chapter has 3 you can get. I don't really understand how that works. Like, you either need to have a good score, or you have to smash these pots, maybe. Or, I just didn't get it. There's a specific amount to collect, though, and they all unlock new combos, which I guess are stronger attacks. So when a guy glows blue and you block in fast stance, that works. If a guy glows orange, you have to block in heavy stance, which happens when you hold the right bumper. And that has much less combos, and it doesn't really combo with fast attacks either. It's kind of shitty. But, you know, you unlock new moves and it starts to work, I guess. You also have a range stance, which I guess guys glow gray, question mark, or projectiles. And you can counter those with it, and it does like fast sweepy attacks. They can cover a big area but do very little damage. Those function like the Blades of Chaos. I guess this blade like snaps together, and it can be dual blades, it can be a big sword, or it can be chain blades. You got all those, that's your moveset. It took me a while to figure out that I could counter the orange attacks. The game didn't really explain that to me. But also, the normal blocking with the blue attacks just doesn't work half the time. It's usually worked when I blocked the heavies, though, which was very strange. And with the final boss specifically, you have to switch between the 3 different types of block. And when he does the blues, I ended up just dodging out of the way and like breaking the whole sequence because it was so difficult. It just wasn't fucking working most of the time. I spent probably a couple hours fighting the asshole because he just kept killing me when he started tossing projectiles that were colored. And, like, he blocks almost every attack. There's guard breaker moves you can use, but they don't work on the boss. You have to, like, randomly get a hit off on him or reach the end of a sequence like that by blocking perfectly. So, yeah, it just wasn't working out. It was very frustrating. And again, you don't have upgrades, it's only unlocking new combos, which I've never been good at inputting combos, so I don't play fighting games. There's an H. Why is my sanity gone? Get the fuck out of here for a second. So the game was pretty short. It's like 5 acts. They probably take like 2 hours each. And there's a 6th act, but that's all just the final boss. Or a soup kitchen, all welcome. And yeah, basically there's only like one guard breaker move with the default combo set, so you're just gonna be spamming that a lot and then just mashing buttons in order to like keep things stylish. You can do like a super move after racking up enough style.
Crumpled, but clean. Someone's been here recently.
I feel like there's supposed to be more variety. It definitely told me I unlocked new super moves, but every time I used it, it was like the same thing. You like grab a guy, throw him up in the air, and then dick stomp him down into the ground head first. And like it was cool. It like took out a big crowd of dudes when he did it, but he kept telling me I was unlocking new moves. There were like 3 levels of it, and each level looked the same to me. I know I was doing the level 1, 2, and 3 because it was consuming different amounts of resource points.
Huh. Smells like fish soup.
I get it. There just wasn't that progression system I was looking for. Gameplay wasn't good. And it was probably fine if you're better at that kind of game, but I was expecting God of War. I like God of War. I like Darksiders. I even like Devil May Cry. But Devil May Cry is like my least favorite of the bunch because of its reliance on combos and the whole grading system. I'm just not good at doing that stuff. So...
there we go. Guess his next move is one of these.
Yeah. Still, I'm glad I played it for the story, at least. The story's nothing special, but the acting's really, like, something else.
Smells like fish soup.
Big fan of Shakespeare. Very Shakespearean villains. Very wordy speeches. They all have weird,
like
crazy, what's the word I'm looking for? Eccentric personalities. There are parts of the game where you play this cringy cat girl with a bow, you like to twing twang, and it's really difficult to shoot.
Crumpled, but
I always got
someone's been here recently.
one star out of 3 on the axe where you had to play her. And what was really shitty was basically at long range, because the resolution of the game's so low, you had to use aftertouch, which you could use when you throw stuff as the main character, but when you're playing her, you like hold the shoot button and then you with the remote, like it's motion controls, and it's very stiff feeling. Like you have to really turn that thing to get just a little movement. But you spend a lot of time doing that, and it gets old very fast. And there's probably like at least one of those missions per act. And yeah, I did not care for that character. I didn't care that your character's primary motivation was helping that character. And I did not like playing her. So yeah, awful.
Huh. Somebody likes to lecture.
Anyways, game was alright. Play it for the story, or at least watch the cutscenes. You don't necessarily need to do all the button mashing, because it is pretty difficult, a little frustrating at times. Also, the game is laggy. I thought that it just emulated like ass. Apparently, it just runs like ass. The game starts with like a big-ass battle. There are hundreds of dudes on screen. It's obvious why it's lagging, but like, what kind of game starts lagging? You don't do that. It's usually like alright for most of the game, but you go to that battle scene a few times, and it just never runs very well there.
Huh. Smells like fish soup.
And it's real shitty considering Spartan Total Warrior exists on PS2. Which had big battles that ran well, you know, on older hardware. So yeah, game was alright. I'd say play it if you find it, but like you're not missing anything crazy by not playing it. Very mixed bag. Give it 5-4. I felt like the controls could have been better. Could have been more guard break moves and help me get through the frustrating parts of it. I definitely enjoyed it less than Warhammer, which is why it gets a lesser grade, like, in comparison.
Throat slit. Clean. Throat slit. Clean.
Clean boys.
Throat slit. Clean.
Alright, this is a ramp. I don't know why I don't have my flashlight on. This is not a ramp. Oh, okay, it's investigation time. It should have like something guiding me back up to it, because it's not like I'm just gonna stare at the ceiling for no reason.
Here, into the sea. I never thought I'd be able to take this journey. Go on ahead while I speak with the others. Finish off the interlopers. They no longer matter. I'll see you all upstairs.
Killing clannies. Clan clowns.
It is time Time to strike down the false prophets of the Order and to take back Professor Doe.
Time to figure this out.
So... is this a cult too? Like, this is the Innsmouther cult that attacked the expedition? But they're also being hunted by the racist.
Here, into the sea. I never thought I'd be able to take this journey.
They might have started up here. These two are interchangeable, but I think they came back with prisoners and they executed the Klansmen.
It is time. Time to strike down the false prophets of the Order and to take back Professor Doe. Finish off the interlopers. They no longer matter. I'll see you all upstairs.
No, okay. You went upstairs after doing that. It should have been a takeoff, a clue.
Here.
Making the plan, you're like, yes, we no longer need these people, we're doing the thing. And then he goes and hypes up the boys.
They no longer matter. I'll see you all upstairs. It is time. Time to strike down the false prophets of the Order and to take back Professor Doe.
Is it... basement, second floor, first floor? It's weird. The only one that has, like, a clear order in this is this. He says, let's go upstairs.
Finish off the interlopers. They no longer matter. I'll see you all upstairs. It is time. Time to strike down the false prophets of the Order and to take back Professor Doe. Here, into the sea. I never thought I'd be able to take this journey. Go on ahead while I speak with the others.
No, you speak
Here,
with the others.
Into the sea. I never thought I'd be able to take this journey. Go on ahead while I speak with the others.
Forget if I already did it this way or not.
Finish off the interlopers. They no longer matter. I'll see you all upstairs.
None of this has a clear order of events. He's just saying stuff to people, dog. He came here after rounding everyone up, I guess. There's most people here.
Down the false prophets of the Order and to take back Professor Doe.
The fuck?
It is time. Time to strike down the false prophets of the Order and to take back Professor Doe. Finish off the interlopers. They no longer matter. Here, into the sea. I never thought I'd be able to take this journey. Go on ahead while I speak with the others. into the sea.
Dog, I don't know why this shit ain't
Thought I'd be
working.
able to take this journey. Go on ahead while It is time. Time to strike down the false prophets of the Order and to take back Professor Doe. Finish off the interlopers. They no longer matter. I'll see you all upstairs. Finish off the interlopers. They no longer matter. I'll see you up here, into the sea. I never thought I'd be able to take this journey. Go on ahead. It is time. Time to strike down the false prophets of the Order and to take back Professor Doe.
Blackwood's going after Harriet Doe. Took a small army with
I
him.
feel like I did that one
Just need
already.
to figure out where he went.
Okay, maybe I can figure out where they're going through the Mind Palace. The Order knew about Harriet's hallucinations and had been stalking her for some time prior to attacking the expedition. The Order members have been kidnapping people and are involved in occult ceremonies like the ritual at the Orion Klub. The Order is planning something dangerous and Harriet is instrumental to the plans. Okay. Found a map with several locations marked on it where they're diving. Everyone took his men into sea. Only one spot on the map is on this coast, one in Western Salvation Harbor at the end of Pembroke Lane. That's the location. I didn't think any of those were gonna pair with it, but I had to try. These two look like they'd be together though. Blackwood wants to save the city from madness, or so he says, and Harriet Doe is essential to his plan. So am I gonna pick a side between Doe and Blackwood now? No. Okay. West Salvation Harbor. Pembroke Lane. Something like that. Get the hell out of here. What else did we have to talk about? There should be another short thing in here. Yeah. Infamous Second Son. I mentioned that last time. I said I'd finished the evil run. I finished the good run. Game. It was alright. I always thought Infamous was alright. Like, it was fun. Morality made it a little replayable, but I didn't really give a shit about Cole. I guess I liked them better in the first game than the second one, but the second one was funner. You had more powers. Morality impacted your powers more. It was just like, I thought Infamous 2 was better. Infamous Second Son seems to be in a different canon, different universe, I guess. There is no mention of Cole or the freaking beast that almost destroyed the world. No mention of any other conduits. Like, there are other conduits, there's a lot of conduits in the game, but like, they make it sound like it's the first time the world's ever seen them, and they're all being locked up just for having a thing, whether they're using their powers for good or evil, doesn't matter. Anyways, you play Delsin Rowe, who's just a little small-time thug who likes to tag shit. And the tagging's actually interesting, because it uses motion controls. Very few games actually take advantage of the PlayStation controllers, you know, stuff like the speaker on it and the motion controls and whatnot, but this game you like get phone calls through the controller, and when you're doing spray painting you can hear the shakies in the controller, and you actually hold the controller sideways and shake it in between sprays, and you use the trigger to do the spraying, and it's motion controlled with the light on it. That was interesting. Probably the best part of the game, even if it was just a stupid little diversion. Delsin's kind of a cunt. I didn't really like him. Like, Cole had no personality. Delsin's just a dickhead. And whether you're good or bad, he hasn't changed that much. The dialogue does change a little based on your morality, but he's always just a little thug. And, I just wasn't a fan. Voiced by Troy Baker. So sorry, Troy. You did fine. I just thought Delsin was an asshole. Delsin's thing is he's not an electric man. He is a sponge. So when he touches people with powers, he gets their powers. And the first one you get is smoke. Not fire, it's smoke. But it's basically fire. Very basic. You get like a dodge that lets you phase through stuff or pop out of vents. Which is kind of cool. You can hover with it and you can shoot things. And you get new powers by like interacting with these generator things and absorbing them, and then you can upgrade your powers by collecting blast shards, or just collectibles. No, the ray sphere doesn't exist, so I don't know why the hell these blast shards do, but whatever. There is no experience system. Power upgrades are determined entirely by how far you are in the game via your morality meter, as well as how many shards you've collected, which you just spend like currency. So, my first run, obviously I said Delsin's a dickhead, so I just played evil. And I did all the things. All the side activities were easier when I didn't have to aim, I could just kill civilians. And then the good playthrough, all I did was collect all the blast shards to get my powers upgraded. But I played that on hardest difficulty too for the achievement. I got the platinum achievement. There are little side activities to pop up to raise your karma, like busting drug dealers or letting people out of cages. Harassing sign twirlers. That one was probably the most difficult one to grind out. I didn't get it until very late into the good playthrough. Yeah, I still did some bad things to grind out achievements. But, I don't know, even if the number was just like, do it to 10 sign twirlers, they were so damn rare, it took so long, it was very difficult to actually get done. So you actually get 3 power sets in the game. 4, technically, but you get the last ones, like, literally during the final boss fight. So you can play with it post-game, but you likely did everything by then, so there's no point. So every power set feels very, very similar. You get your basic shot. It modifies your melee attacks somewhat. You got your dash, which behaves a little differently. A heavy weapon attack, which takes like ammo. You only get it back when you absorb from a power source. And like a charged attack. There's not very much you can do. And each thing has like its own behaviors. So the smoke, you can eventually set it up to, oh, I forgot about the grenade attack. Which isn't ever a grenade, but whatever. So the smoke can make guys cough, right? If you get headshots, they cough. And, with the good guy route, you can turn coughing into instant knockouts. Pretty useful. Instant knockouts, instant takedowns. But with the bad set of powers, it becomes all about the charged attack, which like gets increased range and damage and has a chance to incinerate people on the spot. And it's honestly a lot weaker. I end up using the smoke the least as the bad guy, but the most as the good guy. And Neon's probably the best power set. It's what you get second. It lets you move really fast. You can run up walls. It makes it the best for traveling around. You can shoot guys' feet to shackle them, or you can shoot them in the head to incinerate them. You see how that's like a lot better than the smoke? It's not a chance to knock guys out or to make them cough. It's just instant death or instant takedown. The difference, though, is that when you're playing good, you have to shoot both the feet on like harder enemies, where it's always just the head if you're trying to kill them. So that one's easier to use as the bad guy. And there's digital powers, which are weaker. They let you fly, sort of, but not really. Just like better gliding. And you can summon some stuff. And I don't know, the attacks on it are kind of shit. Honestly, I used it the least. But these all have different power sources, and you switch power set whenever you absorb from one, so you're usually going to be sticking with smoke and neon most of the time. I usually start with neon, switch to smoke after I've blown a bunch of shit up, because there's more smoke sources, of course. Yeah, I mean, they all just felt very samey. They had different, like, behavior. You used them slightly differently, but the powers themselves felt very similar, most of them. Except for the digital. Those ones were different, but they also weren't good. They all have, like, a karmatic overload attack, too. Like, you do a bunch of good or bad actions in sequence, like knocking guys out the good or bad way. It's usually how you do it. And it gives you a super attack. That was pretty essential for getting through the hard mode. Whenever I fought like a special unit that I couldn't take down with the couldn't take down the usual way, I just use that, kill them instantly. So whatever. The game was pretty short too. I think I did like half in each play, so I played it like 4 times, I guess. Especially if you're not doing all the side activities, you just gotta like clear out whatever base is in an area before you can do a mission, and then you do the mission. Like, they follow a pattern. First, you get your new powers, then you collect all the new powers for that power. You can wander around and grab materials to upgrade the powers. Then you, like, do a mission with your new powers after you've acquired them all. Then you go take on the next guy and get a new set of powers. Like, it's just rinse so soon after getting it. And yeah, you do that with 2 characters, and then you go fight the final boss after some story stuff. That's when the pattern breaks just slightly. And what's interesting about the final boss is that you get the powers during the fight. So, I didn't really tell me, but I had to open the menu and, like, spend all the upgrades as I acquired the new abilities to make it easier, because it was just fucking miserable up to that point. Like, the concrete powers, that's what they are. You know, because you're trying to get them from the beginning. That was the whole point of the game. This lady, like, stuck magic concrete shards in your friends, and you need her powers to pull it out. Anyways, they fucking suck. It's not like a worthwhile endgame reward. You're just trying to survive the fight until it gets manageable. So, like, you have a cool little symbol that changes based on your karma level. And that actually updates on the back of your vest. I thought that was really cool. Like, if you keep the default vest, there are some custom vests you can get for doing challenges. But your default vest will update its logo from the star to the bird taking down the bad bird, or the bird eating the little bird, or, you know, whatever your karma symbol is at the time. But yeah, basically the controller stuff was neat. The game was alright. I didn't feel like you had as many powers or abilities as you did in Infamous 1 and 2. The world was overall less interesting, less comic booky. Delsin was an asshole. The new powers were all too similar to each other. I wished I just had one robust set like you did in the previous games than to have so many very sets. And, you know, the story was alright. It didn't hold a candle to the other games either. It felt very zoomer trashy, you know, like what we've been seeing with a lot of things recently. Like Forspoken. And maybe you could say that about Mass Effect Andromeda as well. Kind of lost sight of what the thing was. Just a little bit. Like, it's not a terrible example, it's fine. It's whatever. And I think that your older brother, who's a cop, who's played by, not Frank West from Dead Rising 4, looks very similar. Dead Rising 4 is another example of what I was talking about. So, yeah, I mean, the game was just kind of, like, short. It wasn't enough A little disappointing compared to the previous 2 games, which I actually liked a fair amount. I didn't love them. They're not the best superhero games or anything. Like, the setting in the first game was simultaneously cool and boring. The mutants and stuff in the second game were fun, at least. And you get to play with, like, a new power set in that one, too. You know, you got either the ice or the fire oil powers. That was fun. Yeah, I guess there's probably a reason I didn't hear too many people talk about it. I kind of forgot it existed until I was looking for stuff to play on with the PlayStation 4. It's like, alright, I played God of War, played both God of Wars. What am I doing with this console now? I don't like Bloodborne. I had no interest in Uncharted. I played Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't like Horizon. What is it good for? What is it good for? And I went to look for stuff that was still exclusive. I was like, oh, yeah, nobody talked about this one. I liked Infamous, and it was mid, right? It was okay. Give it like a 6. It was inoffensively short, easy platinum. Even if it was a little grindy to get that platinum, easy platinum. Fish still on my ass. I have at least one more game to talk about, but we're probably about to get in a conversation here. So how are we doing on time? Has it been 3 hours yet? Only 2. Did I start streaming at 8? I felt like it was 7:30.
I've seen Swiss cheese with fewer holes.
Sheesh. That was a pretty hard-boiled line, actually. Whoa! Ah!
These look like they'll hatch soon.
The hell? Stop! You sneaky shotgun boys keep showing up. Really dark. This flashlight isn't doing much. The thing about a flashlight, it needs something to reflect off of for it to illuminate. There's no walls, you ain't gonna see shit with it. Hey, it's today.
I know you, don't I? Mr. Reed, the fish market, had business with that harlot Anna. Why on earth are you here?
Mr. Blackwood, guess I finally caught up to you.
You are a follower of my work?
Oh, sorry, Evernote. My heart belongs to another. Fred from the fish market said you could tell me where the professor is.
I see. He didn't mention that I was about to wage war on the EOD then.
Harriet Doe. I know you were looking for her. Where is she?
Why do you need to find her? She has a purpose that must be fulfilled. A purpose that you have no part in.
But I could.
I have questions that I need her to answer.
Questions? You're like a dog digging for a bone. You have no concept of the greater picture. The professor is the one. She is too important to be bothered by your questions. She is all that remains of the few. Listen to me. Harriet must live. We are on the cusp of a great tragedy, and only she can avert it. She is one of the chosen, gifted with visions by divine providence. It is her fate to either save us or doom us all.
I don't follow. You talk about tragedy and doom. What tragedy? What doom?
From beneath the city. Oh, but I forget. You would know. The frescoes here show the truth. I lost days studying them long ago.
Why didn't you say so?
I once surfed the sea myself, Mr. Reed. But
You
I
freaking give me a
cannot
tour of
do
this
so any
frescoes.
longer. They have to be stopped. Harriet is the key.
Well, as long as you want to stop them.
Okay. Why don't you save us both a lot of time and trouble and give me the short, snappy version?
There is a cosmic cycle at the end of each turn. I'm sorry. My time is too short. Please, find Harriet. You must make sure she lives.
In that case, I suppose I better get a move on.
Good luck, Mr. Reed. You must not fail.
Wow, now it's good luck, huh?
Deep is calling me.
Bones. Sorry, it just occurred to me that my webcam's probably not in the 100% correct place right now. Is that better? Is it more centered? Yeah, something like that. It's maybe angled a little too much downward. Just. Now it's 2 up. I know, I should have done it before. I just, you know, I normally don't have to touch it because it's not moving at all. But now I've got the Wii sensor bar up there, so like I moved it and I had to like move the monitor around to get the things plugged in, you know.
It's a prison. I've seen these symbols before, but where?
In your dreams. It's Cthulhu. Wow. It's the dark eons before the age of man. Sith Gonar lives beneath the ground, and the eldritch prison rests the dreamer's hidden daughter, bound to never leave. Huh? So, Cthulhu or Dagon or whatever has a daughter that's imprisoned here? I'm sure this is like a race of monsters that are freaking octopus faces. I don't know who Dagon or Cthulhu specifically are, though. I'd like to think that they're just referring to the one specific thing that we think is in our ocean. But it sounds like there may be 2 of them, and, you know, it's probably one and the other. Like, maybe the dreamer is Dagon, and Cthulhu is the daughter. And, you know, that would answer all the questions. There are simply 2. Who'da thunk? But then, what was that freaking name they just dropped right there? They're all hard to pronounce. I'm not gonna remember it.
Another piece of the puzzle. It looks like a wheel. Something repeating, maybe.
The Wheel of Misfortune?
Some kind of cycle.
But there are those who would free the daughter if the dreamer's seed would only pass to her. Each turn of the cycle, those carrying the seed are drawn to Sith Gonar, driven by hideous visions. The Sith Gonar is the daughter's name. People carrying the dreamer's seed are drawn to her, so someone like Mr. Reed here who's having visions got nutted on by the dreamer, I guess. I think he might have some kind of parasite in me. Is this like a mind flayer situation? Mind flayers, those are octopus faces. That's a mind flayer. Mind flayers have like tadpoles they put in your head that transform you into them. That would be their seed. Maybe that's what Innsmounder syndrome is. It's mind flayerification.
A seal. I'm sure I've seen these symbols before. Where?
Temple of Dagon. There you go. Dagon's probably the dreamer's name. So is Cthulhu not going to be... You know what? CTH and Gonar? Maybe that's Cthulhu. Maybe it's an alternate name, or maybe it's copywritten. Maybe it's just an easier way to pronounce it, because I don't know how the hell you pronounce this. Anyways, the seal of Sithgiginar will open the way. Many will try and perish. Their stars are right, and the dreamer stirs his house. One will succeed, the daughter shall be freed, and her swollen womb the dreamer shall spawn once more. The daughter is gonna birth the father? And I guess that's what happened with the other womb. Like, very literally, with human terms. Is this Harriet? Harriet Tubman? think so.
Professor Doe, are you all right?
All right. I am. Why not? Sorry, who are you?
Speaking of mind flayers, I low-key need to get this game the fuck off my hard drive because it's kind of big with that friggin' DLC patch I installed, so, yeah. I need to clear room for Baldur's Gate 3, which comes out in, like, a couple weeks. It's 150 gigs, dog. I have, like, 120 free at the moment. It was 80 before, but then I beat Dawn of War. I'm like trying to chop down all the big games I have installed right now. It's a mission.
I'm Charles Reed, private detective. I've come here for some answers.
Here you'll find many answers. Everything is an answer here. And everything is in my hands now. Do you understand? There is a cycle. This has all happened before. She wants to be free, but she must not be, or else it all ends.
What is this about a cycle?
It always begins with a great flood. Then the threat rises with the sea. The sea is all that divides our world from the one below. When the sea rises, the gates neither open nor closed, only waiting.
The hot gates.
What? Gates?
Katiganar! The gates are not closed, the gates are not open.
Katiganar, that's how you
Shall
pronounce
be one
that?
or the other by the cycle's end.
What are you talking about?
I guess that is how you pronounce
But
it.
the seal may close the gates, and close them forevermore.
Nevermore.
Professor Doe, you're not making sense. We need to get out of here. Now.
I can't leave with you. I need to be alone. Alone! You don't understand. I play a part in it all, but only the chosen few may do that. Those led by the visions. I have had them for so long.
I have visions too. That's what brought me to Oakmont. And I guess what brings me to you now.
Oh, but that has to be
You're not special. Shut the fuck up.
so much. It has to be different. I don't understand. There can only be one of us.
No, we aren't fucking Highlanders. Get off your high horse.
I need a moment to think it over.
Okay. I will stay here with my seal.
There is an ancient evil below the city, and one chosen savior led to his fate by horrid visions can seal or free it. It says his fate, not her fate, you see? It's me. Prophecy, one savior. The prophecy says there will be many chosen, but only one savior. Those that fail will die. Prophecy says there will be many chosen, but only one savior. The others will try and fail. And what's this about dying? Why does someone have to die? Like... Visions in the prophecy. I might be one of the chosen. The visions led the chosen to the city, to their destiny. They lead me here too. Am I part of a prophecy? They planned her because she's one of the chosen. Got it. Recently, Harriet Doe has experienced horrifying visions. Could she be one of the chosen? So, is this like is the choice picking who is chosen? What happens? Harriet Doe is essential to saving the city from madness. Harriet Doe and I are both chosen, and if the prophecy is true, only one of us can succeed. But damn the risk, she has suffered enough already. I must save her. Must kill Harriet. What? Why? Harriet Doe and I are both chosen. Both of us are plagued by nightmare's vision. Both destined to seal the evil under the city. Yet the prophecy says only one of us may live. Too much is, you know, prophecy only happens if you fulfill it. No one has to die. That would just be fucking murder. What kind of fucking PI would do that? And like, there's no reason to kill her. She's not hostile. She doesn't threaten me. She just thinks she's special, and that might make her want to kill me. But she hasn't tried none yet.
I'm not finished here yet. I know what we should do.
Yes.
Oh, right, hold on.
Okay.
There's actually an ending where you just fucking leave. And if I make a hard save, we can probably see that and, like, not freaking ruin the game.
I know what we should do.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here.
But my work isn't finished. My mission.
Good luck finishing it if you're dead. We need to get out of here, Harriet. We just need to get to the surface.
Fine. Fine. We go above ground, but we need to take the seal with us. The seal is the key to everything.
Okay, well, I don't know if that's what I was going for, but saying I will be the one who remains, that might provoke a fight. Am I not chosen? Is that the sleep paralysis man? Oh no, he's real. Right, it's the first guy we talked to when we got off the boat. I forgot all about him. Johannes Vanderberg. When do you fall from heights? You rarely ever be swimming. That's also a mistake thing. I don't have a submachine gun, but they might give me one now. I feel like we're pretty close to the end. Maybe one more main case to go through. Don't mind that.
What are you doing here, Johannes?
You have quite a knack for asking the wrong questions, Mr. Reed. I'm here because I heard you were admitted. You don't seem the frail sort, so my interest was piqued.
Is Johannes the devil? Devil's usually portrayed by a man in a suit with glasses and a little trilby cap like that. A fedora.
Last I remember, I was underwater.
Consider yourself lucky. That's not the best place to be unconscious. I'd wager you'd had a drink too many were it not for the scratches. What exactly were you doing underwater?
Well, I want to know who brought me out of there.
There was this ancient temple down there. It was wrong, Johannes. A horror show.
It's all right, I believe you. I won't ask you to relive it just yet.
Please. What happened to Harriet Doe? Where is she?
Ah, she's right here at the hospital. In the morgue.
What?
I fished her out of the Calm Shore Marina earlier today. A pity. I always thought she was a strong swimmer.
But how? I made sure she...
Made sure? Mr. Reed, when confronted by the true horrors of this city, you couldn't even stay conscious. And now we are here.
What happened to my things? I need to find them.
Mr. Reed...
If she died regardless of my choice.
I guess not. Apologies.
Although, this wouldn't happen to be about a certain seal, would it?
How do you know about it?
Mr. Reed, there are plenty of things you do not yet know. Luckily, I want you to succeed.
Why didn't you tell me?
Perhaps it has been misplaced. You may wish to return to where you were found. If I were you, I'd inquire with the staff as to where that was.
Alright, well...
Johannes, be straight with me. How do you know about the seal?
What can I say? Acquiring information is something of a hobby of mine. Wasn't that how you and I first met? In any event, when you've recovered the seal, come find me at my theater. I will have a plan of action ready. Here's the address. Farewell.
No gun. Okay, so... do I have to ask the doctor? Yeah. On West Advent, University Street, Vinland Ave. Oh, yeah, it's the place. Well, whatever. I'll leave it marked. But I know it's important.
I believe I was rescued by a stranger. Do you know who it was?
Ah, let's see. You're Reed, right?
No way,
That's fine.
damn it.
It was a regular of ours.
A regular?
Yeah, his name is Billy Drunnen. Well, let's just say he enjoys a drink a bit too much. Seen a lot of him these past few months.
Barrel fever, huh?
I tell you, his file is just about bursting at the seams. The things he comes out with is therapy.
Can I have my things back, please?
Oh, of course. There you go.
Is this all you have? I'm missing a large, round object.
I don't recall it. Sorry. At least you're leaving here with your life. That's something.
Bye.
Bye. No Tommy gun. So,
Hospital of St. Mary, founded 1862. Designed by B.A. Kaplan. Every life matters.
Have I been missing those the whole game? Is that a scavenger hunt for historical landmarks? The flood took something from us all, but we can't afford to let it take over saying countless historic objects has been damaged. Ah, jeez. This is an easy experience. I've been to all these places. Patient. Apparently an alcoholic has undergone therapy many times past 2 months. Billy Drunnen. Alcoholism, cirrhosis. That's drink too much and your liver starts to get destroyed, scars. You get it from hepatitis too. I think drinking too much is supposed to give you hepatitis. That's like how you get it without body fluid exchange. Unemployed 7 Oaks bar regular, taken to hospital multiple occasions. So he'd be at the 7 Oaks bar, which is this one over here? Yeah. Okay. So I guess I should just like teleport around real quick and get the experience from collecting those things.
I'll send whatever help I can, but there's no room here. We have our hands full.
Find something you like. Cheaper than the rest.
What's your problem?
No problem.
Find something you like. Cheaper than the rest.
Go in the park. This might be why all of these locations have this orange thing on them. Like, maybe that can be turned green.
This way.
Because, like, the theater doesn't have that, right? Ah, see, these ones don't have... No, but the university is one of the locations. Never mind.
By the fire while I try to find you some medicine. New victims. And if the flood won't relent, there'll be even more.
Time to figure this out.
New victims. And if the flood won't relent... This way. Stay by the fire while I try to find you some medicine.
I'll send whatever help I can, but there's no room here. We have our hands full.
The flood was sudden and hit the city hard. The hospital staff tried to help, but quickly ran out of room and medicine.
That one's done. Let's go to the university. Okay, what is the next thing on the list? Anima, Gate of Memories. I'd say it's like an anime game, but that's really just the aesthetic. It's like cel-shaded, I guess, and it seems very Japanese-inspired, but I'm not sure it's a Japanese studio. In fact, the game's very indie. I think it had like a crowdfunding campaign, but it's a small team, maybe like 3 people. I don't remember what it said in the credits, honestly, but something very small. Voice acting quality is like a mixed bag, but the story ended up being pretty interesting. It's just alright at first, and then you wander around like a tower, right, made of memories. Each area of the tower is like a different biome, and it's made of someone else's memories, and you go around looking for these things that tell these interesting stories. They get a little dark until you learn enough about the guy to like be able to fight the person that the memories were about, I guess. And these people were all messengers of destruction or something, messengers of the end. Right, those are the bosses you're taking down. All of them have had something horrible happen to them, and they like end up becoming gods in the process, I guess. That's what ties them all together. And it's kind of like a Highlander situation. They've all been summoned to this place to fight each other and become powerful enough to either awaken the big bad that's been sealed away and kind of gave them all their godlike status, or to defeat him, which is what your ultimate goal is, I guess. I'm spoiling some things, but, you know, I'm trying to stay vague. You are the bearer of calamities. You're just like a girl who like gave her life up to a book containing a demon. One of the most powerful demons known to man, but not the big bad that we're talking about here. Yeah, I guess he made like a blood pact by the book accent. You learn more about it as you play, but basically he ate your memories in exchange for power. So he knows about you and doesn't want to talk to you about it. But you're the one keeping this dog on a leash. And you get to switch between the 2 characters on the fly. You get kind of near vibes from things. Like, he's a little pervy, a little douchey. He's a talking book. He makes a lot of jokes about being a book. I remember there was one part in the game where he just started singing the Reading Rainbow song about himself. Yeah, combat feels very reminiscent of Nier as well, in that, like, they're going for a sort of Platinum Games style combat, but it just doesn't quite land. What's interesting, though, is that in the skill tree, you unlock new moves, and you bind those to your buttons. So you have, like, stuff that you do in neutral stance, stuff you do in the air, and stuff you do mid-combo, and you can, like, rebind all of those. It might take a while before you unlock abilities that you like, but when you get a good setup, it starts to feel a lot better. Though, again, it still just never really reaches the smoothness of the Platinum combat.
This commemorates all the brave researchers of Oakmont University who gave their lives in the cause of scientific knowledge.
What's your problem?
Anima Beyond Fantasy is a tabletop game, I believe. That's what it said. I've never heard of it, but maybe people are more familiar with it. Apparently this is the first and only... Well, there are 2 games technically. I bought them both. I'll play the next one soon, but... you know, first and only game set in this universe.
I can't do anything with this disease. You must stop the research and keep away from this rock. It's the best solution.
The game ended up being smaller than I thought, but when you first wake up in the tower, it's kind of daunting when you see all these pathways and you're like, how big are all these? Where do they end? But no, the game's pretty linear, actually. It's not too big. There's a lot of, like, dead ends with puzzles to give you fat loots. It feels kind of like Castlevania, with how you're collecting loot like that. Or Dark Souls even, like you're picking up little souls that give you things. Equipping weapons doesn't, like, change your moveset at all. They're just stat generators, but, you know, there's lots of stuff to collect.
Here, Mr. Throgmorton. It's the 3rd monolith to appear since the Flood. Luckily, the university is relatively untouched.
Yeah, I don't know, it was just an alright time. It wasn't crazy long. Again, it had a slow start, so I, like, took a break from it initially, but when I got back to it, I just, you know, I played it to the finish. And then I replayed some. I didn't do all I got all of the endings, which there were a handful of, but, you know, I could have gone through a full New Game Plus to grind out better and probably made the optional super boss a lot easier on myself, but I didn't. Did that all in one run, and then I redid the beginning a few times to get the optional endings, which were like, basically don't fail at specific points where you were meant to fail because now you're a higher level. And it was cool that they thought about that at least. Yeah, I just had an alright time, alright? It was interesting. I bought them as a collection, so I didn't buy the second game because of the first, but, you know, they were cheap. They feel like Xbox era games.
Time to figure this
Xbox PS2 generation. Again, it just doesn't feel as good as the Platinum thing, but they tried. It's not bad. It takes a little time to pick up.
Mr. Throgmorton doesn't care how many lives will be lost. You must find out the origin of this monolith. Continue.
Okay, that's probably the last one.
I can't do anything with this disease. You must stop the research and keep away from this rock. It's the best solution.
That one's number 2. This is 1.
Here, Mr. Throgmorton. It's the 3rd monolith to appear since the Flood. Luckily, the university is relatively untouched.
This is 1.
Here, Mr. Throgmorton. It's the 3rd monolith to appear since the Flood. Luckily...
I can't do anything with this disease. You must stop the research and keep away from this rock.
Mr. Throgmorton doesn't care how many lives will be lost. You must find out the origin of this monolith. Continue.
Throgmorton was researching the monoliths that appeared after the Flood came to Oakmont. He was determined. Even deaths didn't stop him.
Dave the Diver looks sick, by the way. I had never heard of it, and I randomly started seeing commercials like a week before the game launched, and I've only heard great things about it after, so yeah. Definitely gonna check that out at some point. Fish market. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much else. It's a pretty simple game, pretty straightforward. It starts daunting, a little slow. You need to level up some before the combat feels good. Good enough, I mean. The characters didn't seem too different from each other at first. That's kind of a complaint I have, actually. I read, like in the community tab, people were saying they just played the entire game as one character, which I don't believe. At least 3 of the bosses require you to switch to the other character for parts of the fight at least. So whoever said that's full of shit, but I did definitely favor playing the Demon Urgo most of the time, because he was a better melee fighter. While the Bear is a better ranged fighter. They use magic more often. And they share their stamina and mana resources, so when you switch between them, it's like, you know, you use your stamina till you're out, then you switch to the magic, and you spit that, and hopefully if you regain stamina by then, you can switch back. So, you know, once you've leveled them up enough to cement them into their roles, they're good, but both characters have melee and range skills available that are both very similar. It's just like very small things that end up making them better at each one. Still, like from the start of the game, you see almost no reason to use the other guy.
The fish market you see now was sponsored by the generous Blackwood family and maintained by the honorable Marsh family from Innsmouth.
And I just thought that was stupid because they introduce it to you like he's a life-saving new mechanic when really he's just a second health bar. He didn't have any new moves initially. Moveset was exactly the same. But, you know, again, they define themselves better later on.
Being good Christians, we're giving the Innsmouth refugees a chance to earn their bread. So pack up and leave the fish market.
So, I want to say objectively, the game's probably more like a 6.5, you know. I'd say, I want to say 7, but I'm not sure about that. It doesn't fit right with me. Like, it's above average. It was enjoyable. I found it interesting. And, you know, I want to give it, like, a seal of approval. Like, I definitely do recommend checking it out despite a lower rating. But, you know, it's got issues. It could have used a bigger budget, more time to just develop things. And I'm sure the next game will be a bit better. Because they have more experience under the belt, of course.
What are you doing? You can't just kill us all. That's our market.
For a hostile takeover of the fish market?
The Blackwoods will continue to support the Innsmouthers, and we expect the Marsh family to keep their word too.
Time to figure this out.
Being good Christians, we're giving the Innsmouth refugees a chance to earn their bread. So pack up and leave the fish market.
What are you doing? You can't just kill us all. That's our market.
The Blackwoods will continue to support the Innsmouthers, and we expect the Marsh family to keep their word too.
The Innsmouthers took over the fish market with the help of the Blackwoods, who cut a tidy deal with the Marshes.
St. Michael Church, Redemption Church. Redemption Church was the cult one. I think St. Michael's is maybe in Salvation Harbor. It could be this one right here. Like this is either the Redemption Church or St. Michael's, and there was another one in like a shitty district too. I don't know, Old Church Road. Okay, last game I wanted to talk about, but not really, was Styx Master of Shadows. I uninstalled it. I did not finish it. I played it before some, and I stopped playing it, and then I went back to it, got a little further than I did before, but it just didn't stick to me. And the reason why is because I'm a completionist, right? I try to do everything I can in these games, usually. And with stealth games, it's always just ignore game mechanics. Do this stuff full ghost. You're not allowed to get caught. You're not allowed to kill anyone. You're not allowed to use any tools. And it's just like boring. It fucking hurts my feelings that all they want me to do is fucking walk and not get seen. When they give me all these fun things to play with, I'm just not allowed to use them. The entire progression system gets tossed out the fucking window. I'm still supposed to collect all these things. And my reward for collecting the things is upgrades that affect things I'm not supposed to use if I want to get all the freaking badges or whatever. So yeah, it does not mesh with me mentally. I'm sure the game would be fun if I played it, like, with all the mechanics and stuff, but I can't bring myself to do that, because of my completionist mindset. So yeah, it's definitely a me problem, but Jesus Christ, I just can't. And a game like Hitman is a stealth game, but it like applauds you for trying out all the different options. That's how you're supposed to do it. You don't punish me.
Cast away from your evil deeds and find redemption in our Lord.
Cannot build here. It's cursed. Cursed. The skies smote the carpenters for their sins. You cannot build a church in this place.
This church building drive people crazy.
Good. Let this place be our legacy. May the horror that befell the carpenters be forgotten, and hope take its place. Esse quam videre.
In the backyard.
Make it quick, Reverend, I implore you. I lost everything to this fire. My house, my family. No need to recite every single bloody name.
Let's get a handle on what actually happened here.
Make it quick, Reverend, I implore you. I lost everything to this fire. My house, my family. No need to recite every single bloody name.
So the carpenters in the house burned down. God smited them, so I guess that means lightning or something. A lot of them died, and then they built a church in the place.
You cannot build here. It's cursed.
Good. Let this place be our legacy. May the horror that befell the carpenters be forgotten, and hope take its place. Esse quam videre.
The old Carpenter Manor stood here centuries ago, until a fire destroyed it and killed most of the family. The church was built over the ruin.
St. Michael's Church, oldest church in Oakmont, dedicated to St. Michael. Central Advent, St. Michael's Road. Yeah, that makes sense. St. Michael's Road. This is probably the church right here. It's not the church I was thinking of, actually. Maybe we don't need to talk about that. I know there was another old disheveled church, like one made of wood. That could have been a schoolhouse. I guess those look very church-like as well. I'm not scratching my balls. I swear the cat's on my lap. Though I might have to scratch my balls soon because this motherfucker is making me so sweaty. He's so cute though, I don't want to get him up. Could be like a memorial billboard somewhere. Maybe right outside the gates. Yeah, there it is.
St. Michael's Church of the Burning Bush. Let the flame redeem your sins.
Burn the riches, and your sins will be burned with them. Feed the sacred fire.
Burn the riches. What, everyone lost their shit, so they just burned all the remaining shit, so everyone was on the same foot?
Praise the holy fire. Praise the flaming K.
After death, flames will consume all. The sinners will burn, but the righteous will bathe in it like warm milk. Fire is the love of our K.
Okay, let's see what we have here.
What?
After death, flames will consume all. The sinners will burn, but the righteous will...
Praise the holy fire. Praise the flaming K.
Burn the riches, and your sins will be burned with them. Feed
The Church of the Burning Bush is still like a church to the Christian God. Why are they acting like some weird cult? And who the fuck is K? K as in KKK? The question I was asking earlier? Is K another name for God?
Praise the holy fire. Praise the flaming K.
What the fuck?
After death, flames will consume all.
This didn't register as 2 last time. That was weird.
Praise the holy fire. Praise the flaming K.
Burn the riches, and your sins will be burned with them. Feed the sacred fire.
Hmm.
Burn the riches, and your sins will be burned with them. Feed the sacred fire.
Praise the holy fire. Praise the flaming K.
Burn the riches, and your sins will be burned with them. Feed the sacred fire.
Praise the holy fire. Praise the flaming K.
After death, flames will consume all. The sinners will burn, but the righteous will bathe in it like warm milk. Fire is the love of our K.
These fire worshippers are zealous. I wonder what other rites they use to glorify their flaming deity.
And we got a whole ass knowledge point out of that. That was worth it. More grenades. Alright, now we need to go to that bar. Fun. Alright, which one of you son of a bitches rescue me?
Billy Drunnen, I presume.
With a jog of you. Oh, it's you. Good to see you doing better.
You look like a vampire, Billy. Ow. Ah, thank God. Cat got up.
I'm told I owe you a debt of gratitude for bringing me to the hospital.
Ah, it was nothing. Good book says to help your neighbor. Wasn't gonna leave a man to bleed out, was I?
In all the commotion, I seem to have lost something. It's large, round, covered in inscriptions. Any idea what may have happened to it?
You think I'm the kind of guy that'd save someone with one hand and pick his pocket with the other?
If you didn't take it, then who did?
Tough to say. But I can do you one better. I found you on the calm shore. You were in a bad spot, so I didn't hang around to look for large, round objects. If you dropped it, maybe it's still there. I'll tell you where to go. It's close. Decent view, too.
Well, I suppose it's worth ruling out the possibility. Thanks.
Hold up. Is that all? Not gonna buy your savior around? What a world.
Yeah, alright. One bullet from what gun, though? That's the question.
You're right. Next one's on me.
Thanks. Just as I was getting thirsty.
I probably shouldn't have gave alcohol to an alcoholic, but whatever. Not like he's trying to recover. He's in therapy to sort out his other problems, which is probably why he's drinking. Anyways, where am I going? Calm Shore? He marked the exact spot on my map. Alright. This must be it. Yeah. Who dis?
Poor guy's face is gone.
I think I'm unlikely to pick up a grenade, so I should just craft those. Yeah. What's that symbol?
Evernote drew the same sigil in the Orion Klub to summon monsters.
Nice knife. Cooler than the other cultist knives he found.
Die, scum!
Diving suit.
Whoever ripped this apart was in a hurry. Scratches? This must be where I surfaced. Evernote drew the same sigil in the Orion Klub to... Poor guy's face is gone.
But you don't fuck with the goth kids. Stab you and summon a demon in your blood. Man, there is something to look at. Maybe the suit.
At last, I finally have it. Better hurry to the manor before more interlopers show up.
Blackwood Manor? What is that?
Scratches? This must be where I surfaced.
Oh, here we go.
When the Chosen visit you, they never seem to come back. So we'll be taking this one. Finish him, Carl. So saving the drowned is the only way you can make friends, Blackwood? Did you really think the Yellow Kings wouldn't catch you?
Yellow Kings. Tried to beat up Blackwood, and Blackwood stabbed someone.
Fools! You don't know what you're doing! Put him down!
Time to figure this out.
Is he one of the Yellow Kings? They're trying to take me away for some reason. Someone must have put him up to it. They were like waiting for him. They knew he'd resurface here, I guess.
So saving the drowned is the only way you can make friends, Blackwood? Did you really think the Yellow Kings wouldn't catch you? When the Chosen visit you, they never seem to come back. So we'll be taking this one. Finish him, Carl.
Maybe it's a protection thing. He thinks that he's killing off the Chosens.
Fools! You don't know what you're doing! Put him down!
Blackwood dragged me to the surface, but was ambushed by Drunnan. Both seem to think I'm among the Chosen. And now Blackwood has the seal.
Alright. So the manor, where Where is that? Oh, I just gotta go talk to him again. Left me a note. The fuck is that?
Again with the signs. I wonder what he was trying to tell me. Where did Billy Drunnen go? I thought you said he was here.
Ah, son of a... He was just there a moment ago, scribbling something. I guess his tab just got even bigger. Anything else?
You're a local. Can you remind me where to find the Blackwoods Manor?
The manor? What you want with it? It's been empty ever since the Blackwoods left. You planning a heist?
I'm a private investigator, sir. I'm paid to be better than that.
Yeah, well, the manor's easy enough to find. Top of a cliff in Grimhaven Bay with $1 million view.
Where did they go?
Do I look like a history teacher? All I know is sometime around the flood, the whole family just up and vanished. In fact, 2 families. The Blackwoods and what remained of the Marshes, too. Pretty odd.
You think they had something to do with the flood?
Could be. Or maybe they just saw which way the wind was blowing before the rest of us.
Probably that. Could have been sacrifices, though.
So kind of you, newcomer.
Blackwood Manor stands on a cliff in Grimhaven Bay. Is it? Fast travel point right there. 3.5. We should probably do that next time. I think we're getting real close to the end, though. So we'll see how that goes. I still don't have a Tommy gun, so there's gotta be at least 2 hours left. We haven't acquired any Mind Clouds clues, but I think that, like, the case is going to start when we get in here. Start collecting stuff. Anyways, I talked too much about a lot of things. And I don't know if we'll have more to talk about next week, but if I'm making the progress I need to make space, we will have more. So, I'll see y'all in a week. Bye-bye. And we'll probably finish the game next time. What is this? What, did the stream drop at some point? Why does this only say an hour down here? That's not good. Well, it's also not ticking. Did it stall? That's not good. I might have to upload this later. Shit. I'll figure it out. Whatever.